Okay, so call to order here. So do we, Luke, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, or do we not still not have a flag? Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
So we have one visitor in the audience, Miss Jackie Butler. Good to see you. You what?
I'm a message from another county taxpayer. He said, pick three types of government and put it to the vote.
Okay, duly noted. So any other public comment on
Survey,
the handout there?
yeah.
This is our proposed survey that we'll to send out. The red is some amendments we made just recently.
Yeah, and we'll have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, and we will be covering that. We're going to discuss it thoroughly.
Yeah. The county survey failed horribly. I don't think 12.8% of return is 25% of the voting population. If they in Beaver, 12.8%.
That's terrible. Wow. Okay. Well, we will try and not to make that same mistake. And yeah, well, we'll discuss this when we get to it on the agenda. So approval of minutes.
I have them up here, but they are not completely finished, and I didn't get them to you in a timely manner. So I apologize, but I would request that we postpone a vote to the next meeting.
Okay, I second that motion. All in favor? Aye. What? It's like you're working or something, Luke? Come on. No, that's fine. Okay, so continued business, budget report.
That's included in our package.
Anything we need to discuss?
The year, and also if there's expenditures. And see it. It's down. There's another question.
Okay. Yeah.
Right here.
So you only have one. So your supplies, the 200 right here is the object number. It says supplies. And you have $10,640.20 left in your budget for this fiscal.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Any other comments on the budget report? Okay. Yep.
So was that final? What we have is 10,640.
Yeah, we're at the bottom of it is tell you right there what's left.
Okay. All right. So item 5, the survey discussion and decisions. Take it away, Luke.
I think we'll start with kind of the work meetings and how I kind of came to, I guess, these additions, which I know aren't going to be approved wholesale, but just going off of what we heard.
Yeah, yeah, I can speak to that. So Luke and I did two outreaches this last month. One at the Rotary meeting, their monthly meeting, and then two at the airport board meeting. And we got some, I think, really good feedback. What we did was we kind of give our little pitch, explain who we were and what we were doing, and then we had them look at our initial draft of the survey, and gave them a little time to look at that, mull it over, and then give us feedback on it. And one of the things that I think was really good that we got was the little short 3-sentence explanation wasn't enough. People look at that and say, well, I don't know. I don't understand what this means. What are the pros and cons? If we do this, what's it going to cost? What are the good things? What are the bad things? And so, Luke, great job, took it upon yourself to add that in. And that's what the red is on there.
Yes, it's going off of a couple suggestions that we received. Part of it I know was from the airport board as well. I guess the two main things that I just added were one, citations for all of the laws that allow these changes. And then after that, just instead of just expounding on the explanations or lengthening those, I did the suggestion was pros and cons of each change, which I think we're going to have to discuss if that's something we want to go with. I know there's questions that come with it, like subjective versus objective, and even, whether or not you two agree with what these pros and cons actually are.
What you're saying is there's pros and cons to the pros and cons. I get it. Okay. Well, I did take it, have a chance earlier today to look this over, and I think, to my mind, it looks pretty good. I think you covered the things that I was thinking about in regards to pros and cons for these things. So I think you did quite a good job on it, actually. What's your take on that, Elena?
Questions? These three? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I do too. Wait a minute. There it is. Okay, no, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Is that 2 or 3 pages?
3 pages right now.
Well, I have two. Two.
Oh, maybe got mixed up. Yeah, check with Elena's. Make sure you get the right page. Yeah, there's six questions basically. That sorted? Okay, good.
Still didn't give me 3 pages.
Question 3. Questions 3 is at the bottom of page 2. Oh, you're making the first page.
Uh-oh. The form is.
Yeah, that's your powers, that's page 1.
There it is.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
I have one of each, so mine's
Yeah.
good.
Now I have it. So it does like that. Did you have the right page?
I
In your packet, so.
Yes, thank you.
There we go.
Okay.
It's always good. No, I need the one that says power.
You need page one.
Or of this. I see I have this. It's still in your own. You gotta get out of the branch. Then we two, if there was one in here.
Okay, we'll get, okay, thanks.
Which
Thanks,
one,
Mike.
which one do you need? The one that
It
says
says powers,
power.
page one.
Okay.
Yeah, top one.
Stop.
Okay, so go ahead, Elena.
This is the one. Draft. This is a draft.
Mhm.
This does have a draft, so it doesn't start with. Change this one.
Yeah, we'll do that in the future. I think we should do that in the future.
It's on
To be fair though, the changes are in red, so it does show that there's a difference. Right, well, that's true. Yeah, yeah. Make it red.
The first thing is. This should be.
Mhm.
Add a draft. So. You had a feeling you'd be airport and roller. Out there.
Yes. Yes, it's about those.
Circle.
Mhm. Yep. I don't remember.
October,
So. that we have to see.
yeah, it was either the 8th or the 9th. And
Because I think. I don't have the documentation of who said. You're just giving us a general.
Yeah. The Rotary was on the 9th, airport was on the 15th.
The airport.
Hmm.
So I think that's online. So.
Airport was Zoom, Rotary was live.
So that would just, some,
Thank you. I'm sorry.
because again, everything has to be.
So do you mean like, so if we speak and we just need to put a link on our webpage, to that particular meeting? And-
Everything to.
Okay. And is that a requirement by law?
That has to be shared. It wasn't there. One of the conditions of
Mhm.
the next 2 months. Because it's holidays.
Hmm.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, especially the Wednesday before. So it's
Mhm.
gonna be- But it's nice to know when. Groups. Not to be observed. It's just.
Oh, well, I mean, I think the more the merrier. If and when we have future dates, if we all want to go, that's great. Yeah, but I think at least 2 should go each time. Oh, you didn't know that we were doing that? But, yeah. Okay. Well, I apologize. I didn't realize you were interested in going. Okay. Okay, well, in the future, we'll be a little better on communication. You betcha. Yeah. Okay, so getting to the nuts and bolts. What do you think, Elena, about this particular We'd like your feedback. We'd like your feedback.
I think, my opinion.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. But let's focus on this, and so we can get it out as soon as possible.
Then-
Oh, okay, so
Saying, we do get it nailed down. We still get the ball in passes, I think. Questions clear. So this way, I'm gonna help you. And so. We have to do it.
Right.
Because I don't know if we're gonna to discuss the results. Results back. What are you gonna put on here, but the results. Should be nailed
Yeah, we in the cover letter, that would be
down.
put in the cover letter, yeah.
So there's a couple.
Yeah, yeah, we discussed this before. Well, after our first draft, we made the first draft, we did discuss that. There would be a cover letter. Luke, do we have a cover letter?
I didn't bring it, but I believe I did send it to be distributed by Sarah.
Or maybe you want to you get it. Yeah, something like that. She gets it. So she can see.
Is it on this?
The cover copies that we.
I didn't get a cover letter.
Oh, okay, so we didn't get it.
Right, I didn't include it with this now when I asked for the packet.
So they.
So Blanche, do you have any feedback? on the
I
proposal?
think I like the response. I think that's a pretty. I think, I can understand it in layman's terms, what they're asking, so, yeah. To here. Today, that was, I like the pros and cons of it, where you're explaining.
Right. Okay, well, good. Well, and Luke?
I'm wondering if there's just a way we could do it more efficient. Like I was kind of stuffing this with, our two major suggestions. And I know, originally my goal was just to have one single page, and it's three now. Sometimes in some places, this definitely looks bloated. So, and I was kind of working on it as in like a draft that, we could figure out something to do with.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and it would be fabulous if we could keep it to one page, but I don't think we can just get all the information on one page. I think we have to give that notion up. Because our initial draft was basically a full page without the pros and cons. So with the pros and cons, I was looking at that too. I'd really like to get it to 2 pages rather than 3, but I don't think that's possible either. I don't see how we can make it any shorter. What we can do is we can print it double-sided, so it's just 2 pages, so it doesn't seem quite as intimidating to someone opening up their envelope. But yeah, if anyone has any ideas on that.
Oh. Some things on the question. The form.
Mhm.
It's for the form. It's two, general, self-government,
Mhm.
that's what the two are. And that would go to the both. To the people, because that would be changing the form. Some things to improve the government that we have. And so that would be interesting to say. But there is no change in the form. How would we improve system government?
Mhm.
So, and that, I think, a county manager, I would compare that to Anaconda Deer Lodge, it's different. So, maybe we should just. Again, yes, form of government. Nature of government is just self-governing as opposed to general.
Right.
And people may want to say, no, I think it's fine, but it's a general. So that you don't need a vote to the people
Right.
to actually change the government.
Well-
Hesitate, so.
Right. And that's number 2 here on the first page. Should Granite County adopt self-governing powers?
People don't know self-governing county.
Well, but in the initial paragraph, there's a brief explanation. The top paragraph, right under powers. The first paragraph, right under powers. So it says Granite County's government has general governing powers, meaning it can only exercise powers explicitly granted by the Montana State Legislature. Pardon? There's no item number. It's just right under powers. It's the introductory paragraph. Oh, you don't have the first page?
One.
Okay, look. No, you've got a duplicate. So you have 2 of these pages. So you need a copy of the first page.
Here. Under power.
Is that it? Let's see what that one is. This is what she has 2 copies of form and 2 copies of basically 2 copies of page 2 and 2 copies of page 3. So you need
Same one I got.
right.
Yes.
Okay, that no, there's only 3 pages. You've got 2 duplicates there.
So I think the question of powers was kind of the most contentious part of this, would you say? So I guess feedback, well, I would like feedback on, I guess, the pros and cons of that one particularly, and if those actually help explain it.
Well, you don't have it yet. You'll have to wait until you get it. Yeah, and this is explained. It takes almost a full page. Well, it does. It takes a full page to explain it. So yeah.
Powers.
Mm-hmm.
Says sources. Should Grant County put sources towards creation charter? So you have to do a charter with self.
Correct.
So they know that. Yes, that.
Well, that would just mean that then they don't understand. Yeah. But I mean, that's a good thing to know as well. I mean, that will tell us something right there. It's like that they don't quite understand what's being asked. Hopefully that won't happen too often. So is there a way to make that clearer?
should Granite County self-governing powers, yes or no? If you select yes, then there has to be. Charter.
That's true. You could amend that saying, should, just to be clear, should Granite County adopt self-governing powers and the subsequent requirement of the creation of a charter or something to that effect? Or how about adopt self-governing powers, which would require the creation of a charter?
I mean, my concept was kind of what you were saying before, but I could see if it makes it less confusing just to merge those. That would be more useful.
I think it would certainly hammer home and take away potential confusion. So
This thing is proposed. Self-government, those are two separate entities. And they should be treated as such. It's either gonna be general, what we have, or self-government, which means this, and we give an explanation.
mhm.
Definition. So you got Medicaid government, so that would be one. And then two would be self-governing powers. And it's always preempted by the law. You know, first, you have to just, as a voter, I have to decide whether I like to go that we have now. And I did. And so, self-governing is so just the major difference between the two. And then get into it. I'd say this easier this to understand about.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but you gotta put self-governing. Then it's like there is a charter on top of it. Stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, lead in says Granite County's government has general governing powers, so that's pretty straightforward, right? Meaning can only exercise powers granted by the legislature. And then, but then the next sentence, a county government can adopt self-governing powers, allowing it to additionally exercise any powers not explicitly prohibited.
You're not adopt, you're actually changing. You're changing from a general form to a self-governing.
Right.
Okay. Then once you go into that, then it's a charter because you're making your own charter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like
Right.
you have to abide everything that's in the Montana Constitution. You have to still, but it's a little different. You can wrong basically as long as it doesn't conflict with the Montana or the United States Constitution. So that's what makes it confusing. Adoption, you're going right into it. And like I said, I have as a voter, I like self-governing, just a general description. And then you go into a charter, but it's a charter. Standard charter, to that charter.
So what do you think is unclear? What is not spelled out?
It should be the two that we have. General government and what it is, and then self-governing. Just a simple description.
But isn't that what this is? Well, that's just choosing. It's just the word, the choice. You choose one or the other. So you just don't like the word adoption?
Say,
Okay, so
then you're on the look into that stuff. So, and some of the services that are provided by the government can be improved. And that's, I've been talking to people, say transparency.
Right. Yeah, that was a big thing. So, so you think the word adopt should be changed to something? Okay.
Can I repeat my take on this? The first paragraph explains what form of government is. And then under the first paragraph, you have question 1, which explains the self-governing powers. And this question explains and then said, should Granite County put resources towards the creation of a charter? Which, yeah, it's going to cost a lot of money for a charter. So in that case, if they say yes or no, I think that, and then the pros and cons. So that question is, should we do a charter? Is that what the question is?
Yeah, in order to, to make our own charter. That's exactly what that question is.
So if they understand that they're no longer under the Montana State Constitution, they'll be under their own charter.
Well, no, they'll still be under the Constitution, the state constitution, but they'll have the option to do additional things. Yeah, they can't circumscribe the Montana Constitution, but they can do other things, make zoning laws or whatever.
So
Right. That's correct. Well, that's one possibility. Yes. Then it comes down to yes.
That's a brand of good questions.
Mhm.
Maybe there should be a question under Granite County has general government charter. And the explanation for that is, and then your question to Granite County, stay with general. The question with that. Then we go to the next one, and then give the explanation of self-governing. Then, under that, put the question, should the government, the form of government to be changed, yes or no? So this way the questions are pertaining to each one. Then you can, because this is, you're just assuming, hey, yeah, let's go self-government here, and this is everything that has to do with self-government. And that. So that's
I
a
get
good start. What do you think?
But I think don't you have to explain what they are before asking the question of whether they want to change or not?
It's the point what you're saying is our governing powers fall. And you end that paragraph with a question, do you want Granite County to stay as a general governing powers? Yes or no? Because you're not asking them if they want to stay at the same place, if they want to keep the general power as is.
That's true. We're just assuming. I mean, that's the default.
Yeah.
That's our current government.
And do you want to keep that current government? Yes or no? If you don't, then go on.
So how about, would this get to the point if, so down here at the bottom, this is the big question. Should they adopt self-governing powers,
Yeah.
right? If we phrase it slightly differently, saying, should Granite County retain its current form of government, which is general powers, or adopt self-governing powers, which would require the creation of a new charter?
Yeah. That's both those.
That like coalesce
Yeah.
the big question there?
So you pulled 1, 2, in with the first paragraph
Right.
for that question. Right.
Yeah, I think so. I think that gets to the crux of the matter. It just lays it out a little more explicitly, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Which is what we need to do.
So so if I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy. So whatever is all the characteristics of one.
You mean the pros and cons?
Yeah.
Well, but how would someone know if, I mean, I think the pros and cons are important to actually explain a little further about what it would take. Because if someone's saying, well, I didn't like the way the commissioners voted, so let's change it. And so they wouldn't really get to the crux of changing the form of government if we didn't have like a little bit of explanation there, I think. Right, right. I didn't know they were gonna have to do all this stuff and yeah. So I think that's pretty important because people could say, well, I'm disgruntled. So yes, let's go to self-governing. That sounds much better because self-governing versus general. Oh yeah, let's self-govern. But if they don't know what that's going to entail, we're not going to get any good info. Well, right.
Saying, well, here's something, change it, so. I mean, we can, if they say something's wrong, they like it, they don't like it.
Yeah.
They don't like it. What's the reasons again why you voted? That you don't like it.
Right.
Yeah. We don't have to change the form of government because a lot of the things that they say as far as notification.
Exactly.
And meet
Exactly.
with the commissioners and through a process, have meetings with the commissioners and say, we can change this. Yes, a resolution, yes, we change that, do this. So that's when you work.
Right.
Decide to throw the whole thing out. Well, you're not working with the government, with the general government that we have now, and you're just going to throw the whole thing out. And like Lance says, that's going to run into debate.
So the purpose of the survey is to ask or is to try and glean information as whether they're satisfied with the current form of government, right? So if we don't ask the question, we're not going to get any answers. I think we have. So you're okay, right? So you're advocating that we not even bring up the powers of the two types of government? Well, I know, but are you saying we should?
Just this is what it is. And then if somebody says no, change. What's the other alternative? There's only one alternative, and that's self-government.
Right, and that's the point of this whole first page is to explain that, I think. Well, this is how we worded it.
So, well, what you called the self-governing question, that being the big thing for that page, it would have to change the wording since it wouldn't be a yes or no question. And then beyond that, we haven't discussed this yet, but we need to name the pros and cons of the government we have now. Or does it kind of, already cover that? Like, I think, honestly, in my opinion, the question already, question one, I mean, that addresses both things. But I understand just adding, just changing that question to address that people might be happy and want to explicitly say that about the general governing powers.
Because I think town survey was confused. So it's one thing that said yes, they don't know. Who cares? It's getting to be very confusing. And that's one thing. Town survey. Sure. Or is this something that? You know, it's background. Just, the facts, man.
So, I mean, it kind of gets at the crux of the matter. The creation of a charter requires significant county-funded short-term costs, particularly for legal counsel. I mean, it kind of lays out what it would take, to change the form of government. People can decide whether they think it's worth it or not.
Under the actual work. So it's gonna be. So.
Right. So I think just by adding that little bit that we discussed to this, should Granite County adopt self-governing? You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that pretty much makes it clear and asks the question that we need answered in this particular topic.
That's the question, can we change that? So, you know. Cross it out. So we know.
Yeah, I can enter edit mode, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's what we're doing it right here.
To make it even clearer, I'm just looking at this one. The item number 1 under powers, the adoption of self-governing powers is always preempted by the voter approval of a county charter. Maybe simplify that, saying the adoption of self-governing powers requires the creation of a county charter and its voters' approval or something like that, so that it's really clear that they have to create something and approve it. It just, that first sentence just strikes me as a little bit of legalese that might lose people.
So say that again.
The self-governing powers requires the creation of a charter and its approval by voters. Yeah. County charter.
You need to make it.
Right. And then, the final big question is, should Granite County put resources towards the creation of a charter, which is just reiterating what was said. So, yeah, I think that's good. Okay. So were there on any of the other pages, any suggestions or issues?
So, elected officials form. So general manager. So.
Well, the
it
form,
sounds like a form of government that we have elected officials and treasurer, county attorney.
so,
Under a general form of government, I don't believe that choice of appointing somebody, they have to be elected.
So general governing and self-governing are powers rather than form. And I mean, just to go over it again, the elected county officials form, it was the standard before. Um, the ability to change it to a general just commission form was introduced in the 70s in Montana. And of course, that commission form is typically under self-governing powers and allows, I guess, these changes that I'm describing in these questions. So, I mean, just in the name elected county officials form, you can't just have department heads appointed without an election.
Yeah, and that's what the question asks. You know, it says you have to hold elections for county department heads, such as treasurer and county attorney. Right.
It's- So. So.
So the general form,
Choice. To with the government. Am I correct with that? So there's no choice there.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
And if
So-
you go to self-government,
Then you can do the appointments. Yes.
it's elected officials form. You're making it sound like that's another form.
It
It's
is.
not.
It is, yes.
It's under powers. It's elected officials form.
Well, no, the general,
Government.
yeah, the counties,
So if we change that, then we can appoint. If we change it to self-governing.
that's correct. Then we can choose to,
Then say self-governing. Granite County in its general government form of government. Holds elections for county department heads.
Is it
Said such that heads be appointed. They can't. Be appointed.
but what
If
this,
you keep
but what
those-
this gets at, if people say yes, they should be appointed, it means they want a different form of government. They want a self-governing form. That's what this question gets at. Because if they want the treasurer and county attorney to be elected, then it's fine the way it is. But if they want to appoint it,
Sound like you hold election and then well, maybe if you don't like it, just change it to be appointed. So they're thinking with the government. Form of government.
so is it important to make that distinction? I mean, okay, so then perhaps that second sentence should be should such department heads be appointed by the county commission instead, which would require a change of government to self-governing.
Margaret, it's elected officials form in its general government.
the terminology I'm using is correct? So if it's just about that, then there's no need, but I understand. I mean, all of these changes listed under form are technically only allowed with self-governing powers or a charter. So maybe we just add a sentence saying that.
Because,
Yeah, exactly.
But a person reads this, do you think that this is gonna be a link that they can click on? It's gonna be a survey that they can copy of it. Because this is also gonna be.
Well, yes. Right. Right. So I think, yeah, I think we could satisfy that by doing what Luke suggested, just adding, saying that if should department heads be appointed by the county commission instead, which would require a change of government to the self-governing or something, whatever. Yeah. So do you agree that would work?
I have. So my elected officials.
My idea was just to clarify to have one sentence, just like right here, under form stating the following questions pertain to changes that can be made with self-governing powers or something like that.
Uh-huh. Yep. And I just had a thought actually. Sorry, going back to this. Should we include, would it be useful for people to know that 52 of the 56 counties have general governing powers and only 4 have changed to self-government? Would that be useful?
Only 4 have it. There must be something wrong. Majority.
Right, right.
Certain things on that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Should we include that here? That information.
I think you're-
Well, it would certainly, the one thing that comes to my mind in that is that someone who would, if they're not really looking carefully, they just say self-governing, heck yeah, because I want to self-govern. It might make them think a little harder. Wait a minute, only 4 counties are doing that, so it wouldn't be just an automatic thing. And that presupposes everyone looks at it and thinks carefully. Is that going to happen? There's going to be some people who just kind of skim it and
You say something since the van on the town. Oh, I don't. Or they.
Right.
With this, whatever.
yeah. So the question still stands. Does anyone think that would be useful?
County with self-governing powers, does that mean that the officials would have to be appointed, or can they still be?
They can still be elected. You don't. Counties can actually adopt self-governing and make no changes whatsoever. Or in fact, I can't remember the thing in Dan's talk. He said one county hasn't really made any significant changes that did that. So, yeah, but it's there. Yeah. Right.
It's always
I guess more specifically, the questions under form pertain to things that can be added to a charter. So we can add to a charter that commissioners can appoint department heads without an election.
So, back to inclusion of the number of counties. Do you think that would be useful to try and circumvent just? Or do you think it would be misleading? Would it? I mean, what do you think?
I want to say it's not necessarily the right move to deter people from, I guess, considering
Right.
this kind of big
But
change.
would that be a deterrence? That's the question. Do you think?
I think probably just on a glance, yeah.
Okay. Well, then I withdraw that suggestion. So let's go on to, so is there anything more on the second page that items 1, 2, or 3 that anyone wants to comment on? Under form?
Seats open to anyone. Pertaining to shared denominator. Right.
Mhm. Mhm. Right.
So if they answered yes to
Then it would, yes, they would show that they didn't understand. That's correct. And another question is, will everybody know what at large means?
No, a lot of people don't know what happened.
Could you do a little parenthetical, 8-word explanation of what's at large? Yeah. Yeah.
Voting countywide.
So then I guess the bigger question would be, should we merge those questions?
So if we remove those questions, then there would still be 3 commissioners from each district, because there's only 3 districts, and then 2 would be.
Right. But there's also the scenario where if the county's self-governing, they could just have 3 commissioners. They could still choose to do it at large rather than by district. So there is that scenario
Yeah.
as well.
So if you're gonna retain the government, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
3 to 5 to at large, and it's going with that. Retain. But if they change, we don't want to get into that. We have to treat each one separately, not a scenario. Well, if they do, then this matter. We don't want to get into that. It's what we
Yeah.
want to have. Make the government we have more sufficient, more better.
Well,
That's
that's the ultimate question. There's really only one question we're asking, and that is, do you want to change the form of government? But in order, well, of course there's a but. There's always a but. Because this is a complex issue.
really, you don't see
No.
that. If somebody doesn't understand, you don't see that.
That's why we have to, well, that's why we have to get as much information from the voters as we can in order to find out. And these questions are designed to do that.
Keep it simple. And then they are. And then you can go with that. Then.
Well, and this is basically asking, are you happy with 3 commissioners, or do you want 5? Are you happy with them being in the by district, or do you want them at large?
3 with an additional 2 without changing the form of government. That's what I'm saying. We don't.
That's true.
We don't go there. See, they're 2 different things. This is what I'm talking about. There's 2 different things. Retaining the government, the form we have now, or actually voting for a change to another self-government.
Just one comment on this. These Granite County commissioners voted to represent different districts. So it's at large vote. There are cases where your districts vote for the person. And it's not at large. So that what this question is supposed to be asking, whether there should be 3 separate districts and they vote by their districts. Is keep it, they have their 3 districts, but they vote at large. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So this is 2 different questions, 2 issues.
Yeah.
Should we go to 5 rather than 3? And should it be by district or at large?
There you go, that's it, right?
Yeah. So the question number 1 is, should they be by district or should it be at large? And question number 2 is, should it go from 3 to 5?
So question number 1 is, should the commissioners be at large? Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Like now they're district.
Right.
Okay. So, and then should there be 5? With 2 being at large and 3 being district.
Right. Well,
So,
but that's true. But then you could also have all 5 at large too.
that's right.
You have to reside in your district in order to. When you get elected, then it's at large, we all. That's what happens. So if we retain that. Ahead of the two commissioners, those two commissioners, it doesn't matter where they live. That's the difference.
So Luke, I have a question for you. Even if we end up getting all this information, we do not recommend a change of government because people don't want it. Can we still make recommendations like to go to 5 commissioners rather than 3? Can we do that within our current form?
My understanding is no. I believe it has to be a provision on a charter.
And the same with changing district to at large?
I believe so.
Okay, so it would require a charter.
So I understood that you don't have to have a charter. You could have 5 commissioners. You don't have to be a charter. Person. But you're saying to have 5 commissioners, you have your own self-government.
That was my understanding, yes. I would have to bring up what I saw on MCA.
So, with my presentation, got a copy of it. And it's a heck of a lot of detail of the government entire committee. And it goes through all the collective codes. And it says exactly what that information. And so right here.
Okay, 2 things here. Sticking with these 2 questions about the commissioner at large and the thing. So this is just information gathering. If we leave those questions in and it turns out it's not really germane to what we're doing, no harm done. If we leave it out and it turns out that indeed we can make that recommendation without changing government, we would want to know that. You see what I'm saying? If we leave it in, it's a no-lose situation. If we take them out, we're not going to get any feedback about whether people want more or less or fewer commissioners.
But they don't want to go to self-government.
Right.
But they do want 5 commissioners, I say no.
Well,
And we don't have to go to self-government to
well, but we don't know that yet. And we can go and investigate that. Well, we can go and investigate that, but we're out of time. We need to get this out. That's my point. Well, no, we should leave it in just in case it turns out we can make a recommendation on it. We don't know if we can right now. Yeah. That's why we need them to tell us this. No, that's why we need them to tell us. Well, this isn't going to confuse anything. It's just about the commissioner numbers. And if it turns out, we can't do anything about that or we can't make a recommendation on it, then fine. Okay. But if we can, then we need to know what they want. So I'm saying we don't lose anything by leaving it in, except, well, it takes a little space. That's the only downside. See what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just thinking that self-governing.
Oh, which county?
Yeah.
Valley. Do you know if that was one of the 4?
It's not, I believe.
Not. Oh, so they can then. Right.
Yeah.
But again, we'll have to investigate and
Yeah.
see. But we don't have time to do that now. Well, then that's another reason that we should leave it in. Yeah. And it went to 3. Yeah. Well, but we're a different county with different issues, so it may be if the people want that, maybe it will work. I don't know. But again, like you said, it's what the people want, not what we want. Okay,
So then this thing is, we're asking the commissioners to get large districts.
mhm. Okay, and then the partisan election thing, that's pretty straightforward. I think, is there any? And that's germane to whether you go to self-governing or not. That will definitely get to the heart of it too. Good Lord. Really?
Yeah.
But they're only like what, 40,000 in the county or something? 12 commissioners? It seems like overkill, but okay. Yes, Anaconda does. Yeah.
The term from 6 to 4. So it'd be two. Instead of 6.
Yeah, I've also gotten feedback in the opposite direction on that topic as well. The, but
4 years.
Yeah, it said that something was too long. It's a 4 years too long.
well, the counter argument to that is the learning curve is the counter argument is that the learning curve.
I'm still learning.
Yeah,
Going into my 6th year.
right. Okay. So do you have any proposal to make on that particular item?
See, I would be comparing it and so you can compare.
But that's kind of the point, saying they do it differently. Yeah, I know, that is the point.
Is that self-governing?
Yeah, more.
Uh-huh.
With our government.
The questions under form are about changing form.
Yeah. Okay, so are we good with the survey? With those proposed changes, Luke, that you noted?
I mean, the only other thing that we haven't really tackled are the two questions that I didn't have pros or cons for. I was thinking I might need help more with those, but I know it's becoming a long conversation.
Yeah, the consolidation question, number 6.
Right, and then just about appointing department heads.
So number 6, so yeah, consolidation would mean the what's it called? Disincorporation of Phillipsburg and Drummond. And honestly, I don't know what the pros and cons of those are. I mean, I would think a con would be you'd have people that aren't quite as familiar with your community making decisions for that community, you know.
I don't think the actual.
Yeah,
Very basic.
I think it's yeah. But you,
We're gonna have Phillipsburg and Drummond, and you're gonna say, Illinois, yes, and then you're gonna look at the outside the city limits, and
yeah,
you're gonna go.
you could also you could add it just to make it clear, requiring the disincorporation of Phillipsburg and Drummond, which is exactly what it would be. So I don't think that's biasing anything. I think that's just the fact. And it certainly would make it clear. But yes, I can't imagine. I mean, it was pretty, granted, the Phillipsburg thing survey was very flawed, but it was pretty adamant. The numbers on that one, they do not want to disincorporate
For the percentage.
for the percentage that return, right? They cared apparently. Yeah. Okay.
How can they even? The percentage that was returned, thinking. That's
Because Cooney knows it all.
Right.
Bruce Cooney,
Um,
he does everybody's.
but anything else on that before we move on to item 6 in the agenda?
I didn't mean to.
No, that's all right.
Um,
Asides are fine.
should there be a motion on anything? Like, I wouldn't recommend anything in particular right now, but
Should there be a motion?
yeah, on the survey.
Oh, well, certainly, well, we could. Okay, honestly, I think we should adopt it with the changes
Mhm.
mentioned tonight and send it out ASAP. That's my opinion. Okay, you want me to formally make that motion?
It's your choice.
Yeah, okay. Well, I make the motion that we adopt the survey with the changes discussed tonight, and send it out as soon as possible. Any seconds?
Well, I mean, I guess the only thing keeping me is it will take a little bit of time to make all these changes, and then yeah, I guess just the size. I mean, that's something that I might still have to figure out. But I guess I would like agree with the motion just to get working on this and get your approval for all the changes made,
Okay,
through
so-
there after, and then, just make sure I have authorization to send that out after that.
Okay, so basically you want to make sure that we look at it again. You want,
Yes.
okay. And how do you envision that? Because tomorrow I leave on an airplane, I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna be in Africa and I'm not gonna be
Right.
have access
That
to
is
a lot of technology there. So if you want to, if we want to do it that way, I can't guarantee I can look at it
mhm,
within the next 3 weeks.
right. Yeah, you need 2 people to make a motion.
Just for regular stuff, it's too, but it's something like this.
Well, no, I think it's 2, and then just if 2 agree, then that's motion's carried, right? So what do you think? I mean, is it worth waiting?
I would say probably not, just past me working on this more. I mean, like I said, I would just like, you know, more eyes on it.
You know, this survey is like a work of art. An artist can go back and revise it and revise it and revise it and revise it till the cows come home. At one point, the artist just has to say, it's good enough, and it's sent out to the world. And I think that's kind of where we're at with the survey right now. That's just my feeling. No, but that was just a metaphor. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I mean, I know a few questions arose as well. I mean, do you want to have it in your motion that I get clarification from Dan Clark on some of these things, like, you know, the five commission?
Yeah, the commission, right.
And
Yeah.
then would you be okay with me making adjustments based on that?
I would. I would be okay with that. How about you, Elaine?
Exactly. So what you say. I think at this point, we are so behind. We are behind. And again, if this is ever, then I'll press it in. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah, so
And we're behind a whole year, and just to get things going so we can, you know, not having the proper.
but doesn't that so doesn't that speak to my point that we need to get it out now?
Luke has questions about. We're gonna just do it and get it out. That's what
No, that was not what Luke proposed. He proposed to contact Dan Clark, clarify the points, well, and then adjust it per what he says. Okay, well then you suggest we wait.
Just bring it up. That's all. Suggestions.
No, you've made the points. Now, what do you suggest?
My comment. That's it. I made a comment.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well,
And
okay. Well, then I'm amending the motion to Luke checking with Dan on those pertinent points, including the number of commissioners, and revising per the information he gets, and then sending it out. Yeah. Well, we've got the framework right here that I think the majority of us are satisfied with, and it's just these couple little points. And I don't think those couple little points, once he gets that clear, I don't think that's going to make or break whether we send it out.
What is it that you?
I know that it was debated tonight, whether there would have to be a change in form of government for some of these questions. I guess the main one being, you know, the switch to 5 commissioners or the switch to
Just to confirm it, because I didn't back up, we could. So. Good. We didn't have to have a self-governing charter.
That's a point we need to clarify, yes.
I think you've hit all the questions that you can ask, that you're allowed to ask, and it's just whether or not people are going to understand.
Right.
And the people that understand answer survey more so than the people that.
And I think the tweaks that we proposed, that Luke noted, are going to help with that understanding too. Okay, so the motion's on the table. Any seconds?
I might propose just holding it until next time, just for us to find some agreement and for the order of the board.
Okay. All right, so motion failed, so then we will revisit this at the next meeting. Okay, so we're on to item 6, representation on legal matters. Elena,
Okay. I have given you a copy. It was online and,
All right. I mean, well, I guess that's going to be postponed for it, but I don't know if you want to talk about like after a few weeks. I mean, I know one thing mentioned was, setting up presentations in the libraries, which we didn't have the time to, set up and prepare for in this, small time frame, but maybe I could set something up for like a few weeks out.
okay, so targeting what populace?
What do you mean by that?
Well, what group?
Well, I just mentioned the libraries that are just open to, anybody to set up their own presentations and events, and they're
Oh, I see.
usually
Okay, and drawing folks.
Mhm.
Okay. My first thought of that is it that seems like a losing proposition, because why would someone come if they're not already, involved in a group that's got a meeting scheduled and all that kind of thing? You know, we might get a couple people, maybe. I think it would be more productive to target groups.
Well, the common person like me cannot go. So, thank you all for being perfect. But I had enough of this tomorrow. Have a nice evening.
Too.
So do you just want to wait on that, I guess?
Well, I mean, I guess we can't lose anything, I mean, we get a couple people, we get a couple people. I mean, I guess there's nothing to lose, right? Except some time.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to keep going with, boards and stuff, I mean, yeah, I could also just set those up for, 3 weeks or a month later.
The other thing, so I think we need to examine what we're looking for in these meetings with folks, people on the street, so to speak. Are we looking for more information? Are we looking to explain things to them? What are we looking to do?
just talk to the public. Yeah, it's making different organizations, different boards, different businesses.
Yeah, no, yeah, I understand the process.
That we can have discussion.
Mhm.
Since it's this late, and again, the season is up. It's gonna be holiday months, election day, and all this other stuff going on. And I think we need to discuss it. That's what I'm better. Get back to a regular meeting,
Mhm.
have everybody together. And then have anyone outreach in 2026, because I think we do.
What would the point of an outreach be after we send out the surveys and get those back?
That you did. And there. And after they get the surveys then,
Mhm.
and then we can have a discussion, how they felt about it, discuss it.
Discuss the survey itself or discuss? Okay. So it's information gathering for us. Is that the point?
to have been for these last, but for this last week. Which was only.
Right. Okay.
And that's what- oh. Where-
So my only concern with that is, the survey is going to give us some quantifiable data.
Wait until next year.
We're not gonna what?
We're not gonna-
Meet,
Someone in survey goes,
what do you mean? We're not gonna meet until next year.
"We're leaving until someone-"
Yeah, I'll be back for next month's meeting,
Because it's 20 days.
3 weeks.
It's another holiday, holidays. are
Okay.
coming up.
Yeah,
And outreach is you're gonna have the same problem. People aren't gonna care.
so to my point, Elena, I'm asking, after we've done the survey, okay, after that, is there a point in doing any more outreaches? Because what we're gonna get is a few anecdotal bits of data. That's all. We're not gonna have any real empirical data from that.
Well, it's not so far, you know, what the public is thinking.
Right.
Well, all you know is you went to the.
Right.
What they're thinking. I'm gonna wait until they present it and it's online, their meeting, which is always on Zoom, and I'm gonna watch the recording. I'm gonna see it. So I know exactly what took place.
Okay.
And that's it. We should have been doing that all year.
Well, again, but we didn't, yes, let's,
This is what I'm saying, we're throwing this together.
yeah, yeah.
When we sent a survey out a while ago.
I, right, I agree.
But we didn't.
Yes. So once we get, just kind of general thing, once we get the survey back, we're going to examine it as data. We're going to look at the numbers. What? After we get the survey back, whenever that is. Okay. Okay, fine. Next year. So,
And one of the things that was brought up, Luke was there. Amazing.
yeah,
And
yeah, it was there.
everybody said, this is amazing, we should have this on your. Okay, and that's a very damn good point. People should know why we're here, they should know this is important,
Well, Elena, okay,
and that's all I'm saying.
we're going in circles here. So let's move on. Let's move on. Point of order. Point of order, we're moving on. So let's do the legal matters thing.
Who's gonna, I presented this to the study commission for the town. This update, local government voter review, which is there, 23 to 24, 2024, 21, excellent. It goes through the code 7-3 171. And all the codes in reference to that. Good explanation, timeline and everything. And these are the ones you have in particular that you can look at. Any questions you have? Okay, 7-3 178, 7-3 183, 2B and 3, 7-3 186. And something that a public hearing, this is by the way, a public hearing, different requirements than a public meeting. And that was directed towards the town study commission. That explains it, and also the town is not a city, it is a town. It makes a big difference. Oh, it does. And I think it's all explained in here. And that's what I'd like to look at.
Okay.
And that should be clear. When are we supposed to vote? How are we supposed to vote? who's gonna agree to it. So, it's all.
Just,
That's-
to my curiosity, the clarify difference between elected and appointed study commissioners?
it's a-
Right. Can you give me a 25-word synopsis? Okay.
it's
All right. Oh, no, I'm just looking for information. I don't want to debate anything.
That's why there, so this might be, it's getting late.
Is that germane to us?
It's true. That's all it's for, our understanding, that's a lot of questions. And so maybe this will clarify.
But I mean, the difference between elected and appointed study commissioners, is that germane? How we? All right.
And it's a reference, it's a document, it's a point of reference.
Okay.
Legislature.
Right.
Okay, and that's what we abide by. What they say.
Okay.
That's what it's for.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, we're on to new business. New county website and our webpage. Recommendations.
I think there's a lot of things that have to be checked out. And compared with the websites, the old one, as opposed to the new. And the end of the year is going to go. There's a lot of things, and to go through them. It's easier if you compare to. Internet on the computer. So, as far as the YouTube page, I think we should move them combined. As far as our meetings, it should be separate. So there is a page, study commission.
Mhm.
And so that people, directly to that. It should be links on our page.
So we ask a question, who is doing the study commission? Is there somebody that's been
David,
update for the study commission?
to my knowledge, for the whole
Is it
website.
Sarah, well, no, everybody's doing.
So far,
I wasn't aware that everybody was doing their own. I mean, it's always been
Yeah.
Miranda in charge of that.
I never heard they were doing.
Yeah, Miranda was in charge. I thought that was just kind of the default for county website managers.
and I verified it with Sarah. So I thought everybody was going to do it. Update. And she said it would be too confusing, so they're not doing it that way. We have to check with her, go through her. I work out together.
Have someone. Sure, points put across the.
So I'll go to person.
Yeah, just with the cursory look I took when the website went online, I just noticed that it was pretty convoluted to find our agendas and minutes because they're kind of mixed with everybody else's. There isn't, yeah. So, yeah, I would hope that, if we can get into that, which I didn't know was an option, that we could somehow fix that.
Same thing with the report, it's on there. Separate with the other boards.
Okay. So item 8, set agenda items. So yes, you had a good point. Next, it's holiday season, Elena. So as far as our next meeting goes. Although, wait a minute. Well, yeah, Thanksgiving, I guess that counts as a holiday. So our November meeting, right, because the Wednesday, yeah, the fourth Wednesday is the day before Thanksgiving. I will be in town. I could certainly do that. Luke?
Is that good?
Yeah, that looks like it. Um, I would I would be okay with it. I mean, I don't necessarily have anything to do, but um, yeah, it depends on the comfortableness of you two with doing it on that date.
My wife does all the cooking, so it's fine with me. All I gotta do is clean the house.
What about you, Elena, or would you for the following Wednesday?
One.
All right, that would,
That's December.
well, it would be the 26th.
That's Thanksgiving.
Day is
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
wait, I'm a day off. So we were talking about the 19th rather than the 26th Thursday. Oh, yeah, either one's fine for me.
All right, then I would go with the 19th.
Yeah, because that's 4 weeks out, right? Yeah, 19th.
For your courthouse.
I don't know what I was thinking.
And then discuss this Sunday.
Okay, so the 19th. 6 o'clock here of November.
Now, the draft of the minutes, how do we table that for the, now it's gonna be done. January consent. So we can see it.
Yeah, I could get that through Sarah, and like I said, I would like to hear, any further suggestions. Um, so I guess that would be again the big agenda item for that day. Probably a sub item or whatever I hear from Dan Clark. I know you had mentioned at last meeting, I actually forgot about this, but you had talked about potentially setting up like a Zoom meeting with him or a conference call. So is that something still kind of on the table?
I don't remember that.
Well, it's,
I think just if we had specific questions,
Uh-huh.
which we do.
Dan?
Yeah,
And yeah, again, I won't be available for a Zoom meeting for the next 3 weeks, so,
all right, well, any other,
but if you guys want to,
yeah, I just realized,
I have no objection if you guys do it without me.
yeah, I just realized it while going over minutes that was discussed, but do you two have any other agenda items for me to add right now?
No, I think the biggie will be just getting the final survey and getting it out. Yeah, exactly. Discussing the final thing. Yep. The next draft. Okay. No public comment? Fair enough. Meeting adjourned then.
Dan?